Swashbuckling? I couldn't
No,
agree more.
Pilates. Do you do reformer?
Yes, I'm a fan of Reformer. I I don't mind hit so much. Like it's cool because, you're on the floor, it doesn't require all the equipment and everything, but the Reformer when you do Pilates is like you're on the like a medieval torture device, like you're on the racks or something. And I always do feel like the racks specifically would be like it would feel so good right before they broke your spine in half.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's just right up into that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the spot right when you hit the sweet spot there would be so nice of just elongating your whole body. But yeah, I love Pilates personally. I'm a big fan of the reformer.
Have you heard of a bag? Not to completely, sorry, but
No,
I'm
what is
like
a
freaked
gree
out
bag?
still. I just watched this video and this guy finds this little box in um the vent in his house and it's covered in wax and he opens it up. Even everybody on the internet was like, "Don't open that box. That seems like some evil juju
Yeah,
stuff. Do
there's
not
like
open the
many
box.
movies explaining that you shouldn't open that box.
Don't even look at. Just put it back. You never saw it." He opens the box. There's like a ribbon that looks like it might have blood on it. There's like some kind of fabric situation, and then there's this little bag that he's like squishing it around. He's like, "There's something in there," and then he opens it up, and it's like a newer style because I have bought these eyes before online. Like they're doll eyes, but it's a newer style of doll eye, so it can't be that old. But like everything else looked very old. And then I started watching his other videos, and I think his whole thing is just scaring people. So I don't know that it's real, but it freaked me out. And then I looked up because all the comments are like, "That's a gree bag. Don't open that." And like run when all the blood starts coming through your walls.
So it's just to bring like it's some artifact from some previous tenant of the house that's just supposed to bring bad juju to anybody else that's in the house after that.
Well, from I was just reading about it when we got on, but it seems it's from like Cajun, maybe Louisiana culture where you like are like it's bad vibes.
Just bad juju in general.
I
What
don't
is
know.
it
I
called?
think that a Greek it's Gris Greek bag.
Gree bag. A gree bag or moho bag is a small fabric talisman originating from the West African, Haitian, and New Orleans voodoo traditions designed to bring luck, protection, or specific energies. Crafted with items like herbs, roots, stones, and personal items, these bags are carried to ward off evil, draw love, money, or good fortune. Well, this sounds like it's okay.
That's not what I got. That's so crazy that we looked up the same thing and had two completely different.
Did you
I just
specifically
googled
say it
it.
was eagle?
No, I just looked up what is Greek bag.
This is from the Wikipedia. It's a talisman that originated in the Muslim Mande communities of far West Africa and is believed to protect the wearer from evil or bad luck. Due to the Atlantic slave trade, the use of Gris was translocated to the Americans and became a significant practice in Louisiana voodoo and Haitian voodoo. When
Maybe
I
the
think of
bad
like,
vibes is from opening it.
okay, okay, history, this is very interesting. Would you open a bag? If you
No, I
found the
would
Book of the Dead, would you open it up and start reading?
maybe.
Yeah, right. So would I would immediately start like I know that that's like the whole thing like in movies like Evil Dead like when you find a book like that like why would you possibly ever open it and like start looking into it and
A
start
book is
reading
different
aloud?
than like a little pouch, though. Like that little pouch thingy, the guy didn't even wear gloves. That was like number one. I was
The hygiene
he's
is the most disturbing part of the
That
whole
was
thing.
shocking because he just I was like, surely he's wearing gloves, and you just see his little fingers digging around in there, and it's like, you don't know what that is.
I would definitely open that. I would like it would kill me to not know what was inside of it.
I would look it up first, and then if it was like no, this is like going to bring something upon your home. I would keep it closed, but I would
Did
definitely
you?
squish it
I
with
do,
gloves.
not to give too much of your own personal background. Did you not open up a portal to another dimension at one point at your friend's house at a sleepover, and her mom was like extraordinarily pissed at you for doing so?
Well, I in middle school there was a website that was called soyouwanna.com, and you could look up like all the stuff that you wanted to do. So I was like, I want to do everything, obviously. So I would just work my way through, and it was alphabetical, kind of. It was like an encyclopedia of all the stuff in the world that you could become, and like easy step by step what you're supposed to do. One of them was how to have a seance. So I had a seance for 9/11.
Just trying to get everybody in the room. Were you like everybody but the hijackers, or were you just like
Oh
full
no, it
bore
was just
open call,
across the
anybody
board.
that wants to come in, feel free, come on down?
Mhm.
Okay. And did you successfully open up the portal?
Well, the candle got bigger, and we were like, it was responding to me. And then after that, her mom called, I think called my parents or called me, and was like, "You have to come. You didn't close the portal, obviously, because I like Nikki, it was a girl's house I was at. She was like, Nikki told me like what you guys did, and ever since you did that, like cupboards were like opening and closing and stuff were like flying off of their shelves and stuff. And she's like, you have to get back here. This is like me in middle school. Like I am the paranormal expert here, and I have to get back and close the 9/11 portal. Like it was so much
Like,
responsibility.
I would love to be that girl's parent, like getting on the phone, calling up your mom and being like, yeah, your daughter was over at my house last weekend and apparently opened up a portal to another dimension, invited all of the people that died at 9/11 to come on down to my house, and now I've got cupboards flying open, my fridge has been completely rearranged overnight. I'm hearing footsteps in the dark. I really need you to bring her back over here so she can close the portal that she learned how to open on soyouwanna.com. I can only imagine. That must just be like one of the many joys of parenthood is being able to like
What did she do?
have
From
to
what?
yeah,
And
oh wait, I'm
how
sorry.
and
My
where?
daughter did what? Deanna,
Close the portal.
you need to go back over to Nikki's house right now and close the portal. See, this is why I really honestly had the best of intentions of starting this stream on a very specific topic and keeping us focused and keeping us in one stream, and now all of a sudden we're talking about opening up portals to another dimension about 9/11. And Deanna, if that's just not if that doesn't speak to your personality, I don't know what does.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. And this is I was trying to be quite specific about this one. We're not going to be talking butts today, even though I'll tell you I just put 45 minutes in on my butt today, and
I did a whole little thing today too. Watch
Oh,
out.
did you? Did
Mhm.
you? Well, I
I
was
did.
told, Deanna told me, if in case anybody had missed it from the last stream, we are in a competition. It's going to run all throughout 2026 about which of us can grow a bigger butt over the course of the next calendar year. So we have from now until December 31st. I'd say that sounds like a perfect little New Year's Eve party thing to measure our own butts. But but I will tell you that like I was putting some serious work in the Pilates class now just now, Deanna. I was doing this number.
Well, do you have a ruler?
No, we need to solve this.
You don't even
We,
have like a normal ruler?
I have a ruler, yeah, but
You can take
actually
a
I don't
piece
know
of
that I have a ruler.
string. Huh. You can take a piece of string and just put it around and then hold that up against a measuring tape. So you don't have to have like the
No, for the dramatic effect, we need to have the whole thing. We need to be. I'm gonna say that we need to bring in like a verifiable third party to come
I
in and
was
give.
thinking that too. We need somebody because they can't be squeezing too much. It
Yeah.
has to be the same amount of tension on the
Yes.
measuring tape.
Yes, I know. And we need somebody that's going to come in, somebody that's a professional at measuring butts. It's going to be able to come in and give us like a full like
And
a
someone who isn't biased to either of us. They need to be like completely, what is the word? Unbiased party.
they need to be objective in their
Yes.
analysis of our asses. I agree. Yeah, I mean, to me that's totally necessary. I will also say that I did get Sam Cho's butt spreadsheet this morning from him.
No.
Yes. I texted him and I said, I understand that you've shared some privileged information with Deanna. There's a whole spreadsheet about how to grow your butt. I want you to spread those butt sheets, Sam. And because of that
The butt
pun,
sheets.
spread those butt sheets. And because of that pun, he passed it on to me, as well as the very long text that he had sent you about diet, which I don't know that I'm going to necessarily rework my entire diet in order to grow a bigger butt.
Interesting.
I know. It might put me at a significant disadvantage, but I do think that I've got this one in the bag. There's no way that you're going to grow a bigger butt than me.
You are genetically more predisposed, but I have a lot of chutzpah.
You do. You have a lot of moxie. No one could say that against you for sure. But yeah, I honestly I think like the butt thing is in the bag for me. But we're gonna find out. Let's
Only
say
time will tell.
next Wednesday we're gonna have a plan to measure our butts on the air.
Well, we have to have the same person do both of our butts, though.
Yeah, somebody's gonna come to my house, measure my butt, then they're gonna
And
get in
they're
their car, they're
coming.
gonna go over to your house, measure your butt, and that way we'll have like a good solid baseline that we know we're working from. Because I've already put butt work in this year.
I
I'm
know. I
five
was about to
Pilates
say, like,
class deep.
you're doing too much. You've already
Uh,
started pumping.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could feel the burn today, all through this morning when I was getting going.
Have you done solid core or core yoga or core
Yeah, I
something?
loved solid core was how I lost like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I was doing it like really obsessively at one point. Like I would go in at like 6 o'clock in the morning and do solid core. It was really, I mean, it's so the music is among the worst that I've ever heard. Like it in a workout
What is
class.
the music?
It's just like it is the most throbbing, bumping EDM remixes of the worst top 40 songs that you could possibly imagine. It's
Hmm.
terrible, but the instructors are good. The room is dark, and with all Pilates class, it's a great place to just low key scope ass. As far as I'm concerned, like I love the fact that you're just surrounded with beautiful women in there that are all working out.
Is it heated?
It's not hot. Like it's not like I
Hmm.
find that I sweat there more than the current place that I'm going, but also solid core here is like booked up. You can't even get in a class.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
like
crazy
3 or 4
town.
weeks. It's crazy. Like it's like 3 or 4 weeks wait for you to
I
get
was
into
like,
a
I don't
class.
know if I should like go ahead and bite the bullet and do that, or if I should find another thing that's like similar. But everybody that I know who has done solid core, they got like ripped.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it was like 2 months of doing that. I lost like 40 pounds. But I was doing it like pretty obsessively. But yeah, like that and like a solid diet was like it was night and day. That's why I started it again, is because I was like, I know if anything can get me out of this rut, it's that.
I have noticed actually that your posture is a lot better.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Since when?
I noticed it when you came over around Christmas time for dinner, and I was like, Dan's looking like he is holding his posture up better.
Well, I'm trying. It's like a constant effort for me to try and get better. I have like a curve in my spine. And so it's like every morning I wake up just like in a cannonball fetal position where my body is just naturally crumpling on itself. And I'm like spending all day long trying to be like, you need to be upright. It was actually when I broke my collarbone, it was super effective because I had that thing on that like it was
Yeah.
like a strap that basically like forced me up into like a very upright position. But
I would like to say it's not something I noticed negatively about you before, but I have been trying to I like even bought like a special bra that's supposed to like pull your shoulders back because like all the stuff that I'm doing is like I have to be like shrimp mode.
yeah, exactly.
So I've
That's like
only recently been noticing people's posture more. It's not like I was like, damn, Dan, like
No, no,
What's
no.
up with
It's
your little
something
shrimpy back?
it's something that I'm like always aware of and trying to work on, but I'm in the same mode where it's like when I work on things, I just find myself like
Yeah, like
this,
a
you
little
know, like
unstable little gremlin.
yeah, like a little gnome that's working down in the mines, and it's just it's terrible. Like it really, I can feel the effect of it on my body. So yeah, I am constantly working on it and really trying to perfect it. So I appreciate that. I don't think that Pilates has had any effect because I only just started in this last month doing it.
Hmm.
Really, it's the Pilates that's specifically for the butt and getting the butt up and running. It's only
Okay.
to spite you. I'm going to spend
Yeah.
thousands of dollars at Body Rock Studios in Midtown in order to spite you.
It's not the most somebody has spent to spite me.
And what do you, what? Give me an estimate about how deep in the hole has somebody gone in order to spite you before?
Well, it's like all conjecture, but I think somebody bought like a spite car.
Go on. Wait. Like just to show you up.
Well, my one of my exes, I had like a dream car that I had wanted for a long time, and I had talked,
What
and
was
it's
it?
not. It was like a Mercedes hatchback, like an older one, and I just thought that they were so cute and like little, like freak little cars, and they're not incredibly expensive, but it is like it's a very particular car. And I had talked about it many times. And then after the breakup, within a month, he had one.
Well, maybe you just sold him on it.
It felt spiteful.
Mm, mm.
That's the thing about
Again,
spite. You can never really prove it. It's all in the ether.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, at what point is spite just like in the eye of the beholder, where you're like, you're doing this in order? I fall victim to this literally all the time, where I'm like, they're doing that just to piss me off, and it's like they're probably like, in reality, that's not the case at all. Now, how many things do I do with the specific intention of pissing somebody off, especially when it's you? A lot, but I have to give people the benefit of the doubt that like they're just like they're not focused on me that much. I think that this is like a I don't know
True.
what that is. Do you find
That's
this as
true, but
well?
I think the hatchback thing is too weird. Like that was definitely spite.
That's definitely specific. Would you say that it was like the same year that he,
It was
uh,
within a month
but
of
like the
breaking.
same the same year of the
It
car?
was the exact same car that I had, because somebody had parked outside close to my house. And every time we passed that car, I was like, I like that car. This was not like a very random thing, like a very like, oh, I talk a lot of shit about like things that I like or whatever. This is like recurring thing in my life. I'm so serious. But that's like I like it's the kind of thing that's also the thing about spite is that it makes you look crazy if you call that person out on it.
Yes. Yes.
So
It
you just
is.
have to live with it.
But that's one of the best things about deploying spite as a weapon, is that you know that is that by virtue of doing it, no one else can call you out on it, because then everybody can be like, no, you're being ridiculous. Like that has
Like,
nothing
who
to do
would
with
do
you.
that? That's a
Who
crazy
would
thing.
do that? That's a crazy thing to do. But as the spiteful person, that's such a superpower, because you're like, yeah, I've got you fit to be tied.
I'm not very spiteful.
Deanna.
I'm not. I'm I
Deanna.
have I'm too self-absorbed, I think, to be
I actually I don't know you to practice spite heavily. I'm not sure that like
I'm not judgmental, I'm not spiteful, I'm not I really don't wish negativity, at least on most people.
I do all of those things. I'm very judgmental. I wish the worst for people. It's a lot. It's internally, and it's things that I battle all the time. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I definitely want. I don't want the best for people. And also but I also think that I do have, I think we have a similar philosophy, that it's like, hey, if you're doing something and it's not hurting anybody and it's between two consenting adults, like, go with God, live your life, that's up to you. Like, of course, more power to you to do that. But I also am very quick to turn around and be like, oh, I would never do that. Like I don't want anything to do with
I mean,
that.
that's
That's
like
not
a
me at all.
survival technique is to be like, I can see that person doing that thing, and that seems like a bad idea. Like, if you can't have that kind of judgment at like being judgmental and having judgment are two different things
Mm.
to me. If I see somebody who's wearing something that like I don't like, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, what are they doing with men?" And like that's just taking up. That's what I mean by being too self-absorbed. Is like I only have so many thoughts in my head. Did I tell you about the time my mom cornered me and I was on acid and um I was living with them. This is when I was high school, and she like stopped me and started talking to me, and I just started telling her random facts about stuff, and she's like, "Deanna, you just killed a penguin."
I
And I
think
was like,
about this all the time, actually.
"What?" And she's like, "My brain is like an iceberg, and all of my thoughts and all of my memories, everything in my brain, they're a bunch of penguins. And every time new information lands on the iceberg, another penguin has to fly off to its death." And I mean, that imagery alone sent me, but like, I do agree in some way where I'm like, I don't want to fill up my brain with like, that person wore this and then like, it's just too, I only have so many penguins.
I agree with that. I am with you, and in the best of intentions, I don't want to live that way either. But all the same, I still find myself doing that all the time. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But let's judge some other people. We were talking about something last night. You and I went to an event, and we had an encounter with somebody, and you
I
started talking
actually
about a.
don't even remember what led to that.
Okay, so then I'll give some context then. We were at a social networking event. We were promoting a show that we're doing next Tuesday. The lobby at Lore on Edgewood, Tuesday, February 10th at 7:30, stand-up comedy where you throw stuff at people. It's going to be a real gas. We were there in order to network and chit-chat and talk with people. And this guy came up to us and he shook our hands. And I said, "Hi, how are you? I'm Dan." You said, "Hi, how are you? I'm Deanna." And then he just gave us like a blank stare. Like he just looked at us and there was no reaction at all. Right. And then we tried to continue to talk to him. We tried to continue to have a conversation with him. And he was a little bit younger. He and I were from the same area in Florida. And I think he said he had graduated from high school in like 2018. Or maybe even earlier. I can't remember exactly. Maybe he moved there in
Mm.
2016, but he was a younger guy. And we were talking to him, there was just nothing to be had from this conversation. And then you were like, "I'm gonna go get some chicken tenders." And we walked over to the bar and you were like, "Yeah, I was just looking to get out of that." And I was like, what is this thing where young people now, like, you will shake their hand and you'll introduce yourself and then you just get nothing. Like they don't tell you their name, they don't give you any information. Like it's just like, "Oh, hi, I'm Dan." And they're like, and that's it. And you were like, "That's the Gen Z stare, the Gen Z stare." And I was like, "Yeah."
It is.
I was like, "What the hell is that? What is going on with them? What's happening?" And then as it turns out, there's like a whole that like this is the like an ongoing conversation in the zeitgeist right now. People are talking about this nonstop. I've even pulled up some TikToks for an example here. Let's check out this lady that does a little recreation of the Gen Z stare.
Hi, welcome in. How is everyone tonight? Can I get you started with something to drink? Do you need a minute? I can give you a minute. Take your time.
Like deer in the headlights when asked literally any question.
I forgot to get my computer, so I don't know what we just watched,
It,
but
it's it
I can imagine it.
Just imagine for it's a woman recreating the experience of being a server and going up to a table full of Gen Z people and trying to just get the most basic bit of conversation out of them and getting absolutely nothing.
It's bizarre. Like even going to get coffee sometimes in Atlanta, like if I have a younger person who is taking my order, they will make me feel like I'm intruding on their own personal public art like performance situation. Like I'm sorry, and that you will say something like, "Oh, hi, can like you're not graded at
This is
all."
it. Yeah, there's another here. I have another clip here that gives that exact scenario. This is somebody that's working in a coffee shop and they get asked a question about an order that just came through.
397. Which one is the matcha latte? It. Thank you. 390.
It's like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Why can't you answer? Do you ever go to Cafe Lucia?
Mm-mm.
It's a spot that's here in Midtown, and they have pretty good sandwiches and soups and things. They have nice nighttime events where they'll do like jazz night on the inside, and they'll bring in like a cool band and everything. I will tell you, the vibe of the interior could not be worse. It's like a Panera in there. It's absolutely
That's
terrible.
Atlanta needs better jazz club, like just the like old school loungy velvety jazz vibe. Why? Why is it all
Someplace
like
where you
weird
can
cafeteria tables?
I don't know. And it's like, why is it you need a space that's got wood walls for good acoustics and you can smell the cigarette
Mirrors,
smoke. Yeah.
texture.
Yeah, exactly. But Cafe Lucia, you go in there and they seem to specialize in hiring people that have absolutely no place in customer service, like no ability to greet you, no ability to make eye contact. They're wearing headphones while they're at the counter.
No, what?
Yes, yes, full headphones on their head.
Like not even
No,
an AirPod or something, just a full
not
headphone.
like a full over the ear head noise canceling headphone as they're
That's
sitting
actually
there.
bananas.
Their entire job is to take your order, and it's like this particular establishment seems to specialize in only hiring these people, and now I'm realizing that this is a whole generation of people writ large. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand this. This seems like this the most basic social interaction that you can have is like when you hold out your hand, here is my name, now you give your name, now we have established rapport, and yet
You can
somehow
ask a
that's
question back, or like it.
exactly.
The thing last night, the person, and it also, I personally do not like to spread negativity, but it was just so jarring because we were giving as much as we like possibly could.
Oh, we were laying it out. We were putting it all on the table, like and like literally everything that we possibly could toward this person in order
And
to get like something going on.
it wasn't like we just were like rushing this person. Number one, this is a social event. So other than like, just some people are awkward, whatever. Um, like the whole thing is that people are friendly. And I had a really lovely time and met amazing people there. And even that person, I'm sure he has good qualities.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
but it's like the whole premise of going to this thing is to get to know someone. And he seemed equally actively trying to talk to us. Like it felt like
He
hard to
approached us.
it felt hard to get away from the situation, and yet he seemed so disinterested and kind of like in another world. Like, when are they going to ask me the right question that will open the riddle box of my soul or something? It's just like, what are we doing here?
I know, and it's like I don't understand where I'm starting to see the pattern of this where I'm like, oh yes, this is actually something like writ large across an entire generation of people. And for the life of me, I don't know where this is coming from. Now, you said that you think that like COVID had a large effect on people and just like being completely removed from their social atmosphere, not going into like not having like essentially like an awkward period of high school where like no matter how weird and like awful you were at that time, you still had to interact with people and you still had to be out and be able to have like basic conversation. And your thinking was like having eliminated that from like an entire generation of people, now that's what you're left with is just somebody that has no idea how to like actually converse with you or like talk.
Yeah, that is what I posited. I also would add, like, after I thought about it some more, I think like because sometimes when I'm in line to get Ellery from school, I hear how other people talk to their children, and I think everybody kind of lives in a surveillance state in their mind of like thinking, oh, this could be caught on camera, this could be put out on TikTok, whatever. And so nobody wants to be seen like telling a kid no in
Mm,
general in public. And some of the conversations, I'm like, this, I don't like the word and I wouldn't use it broadly, but I feel like it's the only way to like really explain it. Is like it feels some of the ways that they're talking feels so performative and not to the child's benefit. I'll be like, No, Casey, have you um did you remember that story that I read to you last night?" And it's just like, I don't think that this is how you talk at home. But if it is, even if you're like still living in that surveillance state in your mind, even at home, which I feel like people do, I think that like people are scared to actually parent as well and be like, talk to the lady. Like, go, like you're being rude right now. What are you doing?
go. Like we like get out from underneath my wing and go
Or like
fly.
after the fact, be like, hey, I'm not trying to I'm not advocating for public embarrassment of children.
I am. I will say it. I will be very forthright about it that I think that they should be shamed and embarrassed more often. But
But I
go
mean,
on.
like, it doesn't have to happen in public, but like then you could after have like a little chit chat and be like, hey, so when somebody asks you a question, it's polite to respond and you seem rude when you don't respond. And this is how professional relationships in the future will work.
I agree. I agree. I do think that there's a thing where it's like parents now don't want to say no to their kids. And I think that that's happening like in home as well as in private. It's like that the idea of discipline is not a good thing. Like, how often did you get yelled at by your parents?
Constantly.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I did as well. And I was relatively well behaved as a child, but still it was like there were a lot of things where it's like, "Hey, you don't do that." Or you get pulled aside after some interaction and they're like, "Hey, that was not the right way to comport yourself as a human being." And it's like part of that, but you can tell with like a younger generation of people that it's like, "Oh, that's not happening at all." That's one. And then the other thing that think happens is like we've removed a lot of sense of danger from like our everyday lives. And so it's like you can tell that you can tell that there's not a lot of sense of like the boundaries of like how far you can push something before you're going to have negative repercussions for it. Like it seems like there's a lot of people that grow up in a world in which they think that there are no like negative repercussions for their actions, and that I think leads to really bad things. Like when that who is that really that gross guy that ran the crypto scam, Sam Bankman Fried.
Zeddy.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Oh, no, not Shkreli. No, the other guy with like the really he was oh he was
Mhm.
disgusting, Deanna. But the like him, I was like I would look at him and I'd be like, this is clearly somebody that never broke a bone, cut themselves, never never had to face any idea, like never
No
burned themselves on this,
repercussions.
no repercussions and no sense of like, hey, this is the point that you go to. And then if you push yourself further than that, you're going to get hurt, and it's just like when you remove that away from somebody's everyday life in their adolescence, I think it's a very bad thing. I don't know that that necessarily feeds into the Gen Z stare, but it's something that I've noticed a lot in like younger people where I'm like, yeah, I don't really seem to get the sense that you have like a sense of repercussions happening from your actions.
I feel like we sound like boomers because we're just like, those kids are
Heck yeah, they suck,
but
dude. I'm realizing that as I get older. I'm like, oh yeah, I understand what my parents and grandparents were talking about. It's like this new generation blows. And
well, I think that an aspect of it too is that like as I'm a millennial, are you a millennial?
I am indeed.
Um, as I was getting older and you're like looking at Gen Z, you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are progressive and you're gonna make changes and like the country is gonna change. And I feel like they have lived in this. like they grew up with their lives online and feeling that, where they'll see like a classmate and they say one wrong thing and like they're canceled for the rest of their lives. So I think all of them, even the idea of being cringe or the idea of like, there's so many weird like parameters on behavior where even if somebody has like a certain kind of humor or whatever, they're like, ew, cringe, go away kind of thing. And I think it's just this like fear-based response because they have constantly been in this like, in their mind, surveillance state. And because they've been on the internet their entire lives, then they're like unable to like they, I think it's like a common thing for millennials where like in millennial humor or in like our rom-coms or whatever, it'll be like the female lead word vomits and says so much because they're just like nervous and oh my gosh, like I'll tell you about everything in my entire life and blah, blah, blah. It's like they do the opposite even with saying hello or my name is or anything because it's this like perennial fear of being judged in any sort of way.
It's the heightened sense of awareness. I think you're totally right on that. Like, I think you're absolutely, and I see bits of that in the discourse now, where somebody will comment on something from like the year 2000 of somebody doing something goofy, and they're like, "Why'd they have to be doing all that?" And then somebody else comes in and they're like, "Then this sucks. Like, it used to be that you could just do something. You know what I mean? You didn't have to worry about you didn't have to worry about immediately being rated or judged or anything like that. Things could just exist." And now I feel like, and also as a millennial, I feel like so much of our humor was based in like irony and doing things that were like deliberately like a little bit off-putting, a little bit strange, and also like adapting to styles that were like somewhat retro and out of the time. And now it's like that doesn't exist at all, and I'm like, oh man, that really stinks.
It does, and like we kind of touched on it last night when we were talking about like the amount of output that you have to have on TikTok. And it's like, I actually like that. And I saw somebody else's TikTok last night, and the guy was like, if TikTok expects you to put stuff out all the time, then like that's just forcing you to be fake. And to me, I was like, the more that I have ever posted, the less fake that you can be, because there's only so much curation
Yeah.
that you can do at that point. And I do appreciate that like things are being like, obviously I love to make my like collage videos, and like those are very curated because I'm trying to think of like an art from an art point of view. But I do like also just not having everything be so homogenous to the point that like unless you're within this formula, you're cringe, or if you're just being open and honest about your thought, like that is how, now I'm going full like tin hat, but that is how the government gets you. That is how like society gets you. It's like unless you fall within this very cookie cutter world, you're cringe or you're bad or whatever. And like that is how you end up with like Gen Z being boomers.
This is very interesting. This is very, because like that the individualism seems like it's like a huge, like that to me was such a thing growing up, is that you were supposed to be into stuff that nobody else was. You were supposed to be into like you're supposed to have outre tastes and things. And now you're right that it's like, oh, because we now our lives are so broadcast, like you do have to very much fit into that. And I've told you before, that's why I don't like TikTok, is because TikTok, one, it wants you to live your entire life on the app. It gives you no other option but that if you want to get any kind of engagement. And then two, that kind of life that it wants you to live, it's like, oh, here's this thing that's trending and you need to do this and you need to be a part of this conversation. Otherwise, you're out. Like you're not going to be in it at all. Which I guess like that is sort of what that is sort of like, you don't have to hide it, Deanna. You can just vape.
This was broken.
But I think like that also has been a big part of like living in society anyway, is like, hey, you need to like fall into these like norms, but those were not nearly as specific as they are right now. They were norms, not trends.
I think it being like such a visual thing now, like people see day in my life. This is what I'm supposed to do. I also saw a video. I'm very online. I also saw a video where someone is like, it's this woman and she's talking like, I used to go on YouTube all the time and just like, I had all these girlies that I would follow and see like day in my lives. And she's like, but now it's all just the same thing of like, I get matcha and I do Pilates and I clean my house and my bed looks a certain way and I have these like tall pillow covers and it's all just like the same content being pumped out because somebody sees that that works. Like, this is how you do it. Now I have to replicate. And it's just that forever on outward like this. And then in the comments, it was really interesting because somebody was like one comment was like, yeah, I don't want to hear about their day. I just want to see it. Like they need basically like just shut up and show us. And then the next comment was like, I wish when people were super real and just talking about what was going on in their lives. So I feel like there is this weird friction that's happening in terms of like media content, and people are trying to like, not everyone is for everyone, but people are trying to be for everyone by having this extremely bland, non-cringe call outable, non like, oh, I have a bad lifestyle, I have a morning routine, I have a night routine, this is like how clean my house, like it's just so sanitized to the point where there's like no actual humanity in it.
we
And then
I was
that
having
scares the generation Z people because they're like, yeah, I don't want to show anything because I would be the weird person out there.
I was having this conversation with somebody last night, with that the girl that used to be an interior decorator, and we were talking about how bland and how boring everything has gotten in the world of like design. Like how every house looks like an Airbnb. Like all the time, I have to go and I have to find locations for work, like someplace that we're going to go film in. And like if I go out looking for houses, they all look the same. They have no character. They've got no vibe. It's all just like white everywhere, white and then shades of gray moving off of that. And that's like been like the homogenization of like our whole world. Like there's no character, there's no imperfection to something. Something isn't allowed to age into its beauty, which is really a shame too. It's like you go in someplace and you're immediately like, okay, how do I completely gut renovate this and change it so that it looks like everything that's on HGTV? And it's like, man, that sucks. Like then that leaves like no room for like funky tastes or anything like that where you can actually like look around and be like, oh damn, this is like something that isn't even like, I wouldn't even say that this is like a style that someone has curated and worked on, but rather is just like an organic building of things that have happened over time, and
Yeah,
which
I
is
think
just
that
what style is.
that's a nice part of like having a home is that you like can see kind of the history of what that person has been into. Like, oh, these are the books that they're actually reading. This is like there's a person I follow on TikTok and he started out with like a little apartment and he was renting it. And his whole thing was like, I want to make this feel like how I want it to feel. I don't care that I'm putting money into a rental. And he would do all these cool DIY projects. Like he did a stained glass like little archway going into the kitchen. He did just a bunch of like really cute little projects that felt like this is what I want in my mind. I'm going to make it happen. And then he got popular enough that now he's staying in this like massive 1920s place and he's making it exactly in his mind. Design wise, it's really lovely. And it made me want to throw my entire house away and have that vibe, but like at the same time it like is so hyper like, here is the one little sculpture that I bought, and like people are looking at the bookshelves that he had done and they're like, these are not like books that you read, these are books that you buy like in color selection and like old vintage style, but you have never cracked one of those books open.
Remember when you called me out for having my Civil War books?
No.
Yeah, it was like one of the first times we ever met. You were walking through the apartment, you were looking at my bookshelf, and my ex father in law had given me this like really, he would give me books that I would never read. like for Christmas. Like he would give me like Bill O'Reilly's like memoir, or like all these like stuff like that. Like Ted Koppel would write a book that was like a futuristic like alternative reality where like we lost all power in the United States. And he'd given me what was like this really gorgeous like set of it was like a trilogy of books about the Civil War. And I had them up on my bookshelf, and you were like, Dan, how many books do you have about the Civil War? But that very much is fitting in with that. Like yeah, and then like also on TikTok I find like the whole thing is you're supposed to explain how you arrived to whatever is the moment that you're standing there and turning on the camera. You know what I mean? Like what train did you take to get there? What's the name of this place? How much did it cost to get in? It's like all this stuff so that other people can go and have that exact same adventure, when to me the whole point is like, hey, go have an adventure. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, I think that's so much more Instagram than TikTok personally, but there are people who are super creative and super experimental with what they put out there. And I really appreciate that. And I do even appreciate the like slice of life moments where it's just like a mom taking care of 6 kids or whatever. Like that is interesting to me. My only qualm is when people are too just trying to fit a mold and then it removes all personality. I
mm,
don't think that you have to like do the full like then I got on the A train and then I did this and I got my matcha from this place. So good. Like kind of thing. Like you don't have to do those things, but it's people just get into this trap of thinking.
I do think that there's a trend where it's like, hey, I want you to tell me how much that you spent on this. Like, what was the story? Like, how much was it to go to, and how much was this meal that you're having? Where is it? Like, I find that personally where I'm like, yeah,
That's
and
like
I'm not so interested in that.
I'm not either, but that's like also there is an online discourse about like gatekeeping. Like that person might be like, "Oh, I got this cute bag," and they're like, "Where is that?" And all the comments are like, "Wow, cool girls don't gatekeep where they got something," or like, "How much are you spent?" Like, there are some things that's just like you as a viewer are allowed to have like you you can have questions, but demanding it and thinking that that person is a bad person for not giving you everything that you want is also crazy town.
Completely. All right. I have to go because I have to explain to my neighbor how to set up and do this exact kind of live stream.
What
But
are
this
they
was
doing?
nice. They have a an event that's based around horticulture, where they come in and bring different experts in the field of horticulture to give lectures every couple of years. And so he's trying to like up the game. Like right now, I think it's just been over Zoom for the last couple of years, and basically like are trying to figure out like how they can make it nicer and they can have like more camera angles so the lecturer can actually walk around and make it a little bit more dynamic.
Are they working with the Wild Center?
I don't know, actually. I can't remember.
You should ask because they do a lot of like cute community events, stuff like that.
Let me look it up right now.
It's WYLDE maybe.
This would be the Georgia Perennial Plant Association.
Do they do
Sounds right up your alley.
seed trades?
I don't know. I'm gonna go ask these questions now of my neighbor Tony.
Okay. Get to the
Yeah.
bottom of this.
I will get to the bottom. I'll report back, and I will see you on Wednesday where we're going to measure our butts.
Someone will measure our butts.
I want I
And I
want you to
might open up another portal.
well, I have no doubt about that. But I will tell you in the next what 5 days, I want you to do as little activity on your butt as humanly possible.
Oh, I'm planning on it. I'm horizontal.
Yeah, like absolutely no butt building, no
No movement.
squats, no
Protein will
movement,
not cross these lips.
not a scintilla of it.
Mm-mm.
I want us to start from a flat baseline so that we know exactly what we're working with and we can see our progress throughout the year in growing out our
Yeah, quit
butts.
with the Pilates, you little freak.
I'm done. I'm done for the week. I had
Okay,
booked this before we had this conversation.
I'll allow it.
Beginning after next Wednesday, though, I'm in that studio 4 times a week, building out this butt.
Hmm. Watch out,
Mm,
Ron. Get back with my
mm.
neighbor.
Thank
Ask some
you.
questions. I'm curious. And send me the info,
I
actually.
I will for sure. I'll let you know. I'll get you added onto the invite.
Sick.
All right.